Welcome to a brand new version of the Director's Communiqué. Director of Education Dom Sculia coming to you from the RCSD boardroom. Dom, what's your message for our community this month?
Thank you, Twyla. October, of course, was a month of Thanksgiving, showing our gratitude and also giving. Thank you to all of those who spent time working with students on knowing God through sharing thanks with others. In particular, thank you for your generosity toward the Regina and District Food Bank. We all know how important it is for everyone to start their day with a full belly. And we also know that many do not always have enough. It is a blessing that we are able to help others. While we gave thanks, we also had a lot on our plates. We always do in the fall. But the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted this significantly. While a few months ago the word fluid felt overused, I think for the next few months the word pivot will make us cringe, at least just a little. Pivot makes us all think about Ross Geller on Friends and his attempts to load a new couch into his New York City apartment. Pivoting in a tight stairwell led to his friend Chandler being squashed, and ultimately the couch sawed in half. We certainly hope any pivoting will be smoother should we need to go and do that here. But it is still stressful. One music teacher, a TikTok user, Makeshift Macaroni, was inspired to write a song about what it is like to transition from face-to-face online learning. You may have already seen this, but if you haven't, it's well worth watching.
Hey, so as some of you guys might know, I'm a music teacher, and I found that one of the best ways that I can process the whole transition to online learning and teaching is to write a song. So I wrote a song. I'd like to share that with you guys now. Here we go.
Oh my God. It's nice to see it just acknowledged out in the open, isn't it? It's a good reminder to all of us that this is hard and we are all allowed to feel overwhelmed and frustrated. Some days we don't want to hear it'll be all okay. Sometimes we just want to say it. This sucks. Pandemics are not fun. They are scary. They make us worry, and fear jumps in and impacts every piece of our day. Remember that Matthew 11:28 tells us that when we are most heavily burdened, God will give us rest. Let us continue to turn to God with both thanks and for help when this pandemic makes life feel dark. We know God and we know that He is with us. As we transition into the new month of November, we remember that all those who have gone before us. We mark All Saints and All Souls Day, and we think of those who serve our country, as well as those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. May the Lord lovingly receive them in His kingdom and grant peace to those left behind. Thank you.
Amen. Thanks, Dom. Dom, of course, very busy over the last month, and he did spend some time visiting some of our schools. St. Nicholas School was one of them. They sent over some pictures from his time there. It happened to be Orange Shirt Day as well, so a few of those activities were going on. Not sure if Dom took a turn playing on this. I guess not. It's outside of his cohort, but it does look like it was a lot of fun. Some nice learning that day as well. Thanks, St. Nicholas. Staff and students at St. Maria Faustina School celebrated the new name of the school on October 5th. The day was important to the school as October 5th is the feast day of St. Maria Faustina. His Grace, Archbishop Donald Bolin, led the liturgy and blessed the school building, staff, students, and community. Deshay Catholic School's brand new vice principal, Jessie McCullough, sent these pictures my way. I love this. She comes up with some sort of crazy plan every Friday for Fun Friday. And on this day, lunch came via a drive-through. Very fun. Our first peek at the renovations at Deshay there as well. Looks good. And how's this for dedication as that temperature drops? Seriously, how amazing is this band teacher? Samantha Ranger outside teaching music in her parka so her students can safely still make music. That right there is a godly moment, and it shows just how much our CSD teachers do to make it happen. Thank you, Kelly Walby, for sending that in from Sacred Heart. The football field at Archbishop M.C. O'Neill Catholic High School was the site of the first teepee raising of the school year. Some staff and students worked together to learn about the process while raising the teepee on October 8th. And we want to say a special thanks to FNMI advisor Keenan Cummings and FNMI coordinator Janine Whitehouse for that, plus Dean Venderman for sharing his drone with us for that footage. Janine was busy dancing lately as well. During Teachers Institute, she and phys ed consultant Ryan Gallagher focused on hoop dancing for the day to help teachers bring this into their classrooms, which is really quite cool. Terrence Littleton led the dancing. Terrence is a world champion hoop dancer. I've watched him teach hoop dancing to kindergarten students before, and it is amazing to watch them handle those hoops. Culture, fun, movement, everything we want in a day at work, everything a student could ask for in a day at school as well. Hoping that they'll let me join that session next time. All right, Jenna Rodriguez, coordinator of technology, design, and training, is joining us now. She is a very clever lady with many clever ideas, and she's got a very clever piece to share with all of us. Jenna, am I overusing the word clever?
Not at all. I'm sure a lot of our parents too have heard their children talk about clever. Yeah. So Regina Catholic Schools is extremely excited to share that we have rolled out Clever this year. And essentially what Clever is, you can kind of consider it your home for all things digital learning. So it kind of acts as a hub for all of the products, digital products that Regina Catholic Schools has purchased. And we know that those are really valuable and essential at this time. So we've brought them all into one place. And the biggest benefit, I think, is that it saves students from having to remember a bazillion usernames and passwords, because we know that that is a headache for
sure. A number and an exclamation mark. And
correct.
It's exhausting to keep track of it.
Because they all require their own username and passwords. So what we've done is Clever will provide that single sign-on experience. So students will just simply go to their school webpage and they'll go to the student tab and click on RCSD portal. Once they enter, they will have all the resources that are available to them there, and when they click on them, it'll automatically log them in.
I love it. I feel like I'm so much more relaxed just thinking of having to pivot now compared to last spring. What else do we need to know?
All right, so if students are accessing from home, I think it would be important to note that the browsers that Clever works within are Chrome, Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. So either of those browsers will work. The other thing that you'll want to do is install the extension. So essentially, you will just go to our good friend Google, you will search Clever extension, and the first item that's returned, you will click on it and add that extension to your browser. Again, Chrome, Firefox, or Edge. And that will allow for that single sign-on experience for your students so that the teachers don't need to send home a long list of usernames and passwords.
Which many did, and that was very nice. But this sounds faster. iPad, iPhone?
Yes, so if you have an iPad or an iPhone at home too, there is an iOS app that you can install on your device, and that will also provide that single sign-on experience.
I love it. It is definitely clever. Thank you so much, Jenna.
Thank you.
Now that we're into November, a few dates to keep in mind. November 1st is Solemnity of All Saints' Day. November 2nd is Commemoration of All the Faithful Departed, or All Souls' Day. And there's also a public board meeting that day at 5 o'clock. November 5th is Feast Day of St. Elizabeth. The 12th is the Feast Day of St. Josaphat. And then a few days off. There's a day off for elementary students on either November 6th or 9th, depending on if the school is being used as a civic election polling station. So don't forget to vote. Then Wednesday, November 11th, is the Remembrance Day stat. Now, Friday the 6th and Friday the 13th are days off for high school students, and thanks to the quad system, Monday, November 16th, is the first day of the second semester, or the second quad for our high schools. No, it's not your imagination. That first quad really did fly by, or almost felt like it took a full year. I'm not sure which one. Maybe it was both. November 16th is also the International Day of Tolerance. The 24th is Holodomor Memorial Day. The 25th, the Feast Day of St. Catherine. And the 30th, the Feast Day of St. Andrew, who we still love, even though we no longer have a St. Andrew's school. What we do have is these mugs. And these are the final 10 mugs we have like this. They're pretty. They have the RCSD logo. They're blue. They hold all the coffee or tea you need to make it through to maybe recess, first recess, I'm not sure. But it holds enough anyway. If you'd like to win one of them, we'll have a draw. Send an email with the subject Mug Me to events@rcsd.ca and we will choose 10 random names to win the mugs. And some words of wisdom from His Holiness Pope Francis as shared on Twitter. Education bears within itself a seed of hope, the hope of peace and justice, the hope of beauty and goodness, the hope of social harmony. It is time to subscribe to a global pact on education for and with future generations. This requires commitment from families, communities, schools, universities, institutions, religions, governments, and the human family to train mature men and women. We achieve fulfillment when we break down walls and our hearts are filled with faces and names. The proof of prayer is real love for our neighbor. And now we're going to scoop a little something from Leader Post sports reporter Rob Vanstone, a small but mighty piece at the end of his Robservation columns called Nice People Who Deserve a Plug. Now, Rob recently covered all the changes to high school sports this fall and then reached out to our superintendent, Kelly Eamon, to talk with her and her family about how that change impacted things at home. So we're going to start with Rob Vanstone. He is the first that we will mention in Kind People Who Deserve a Hello. Other people, Jenna Rodriguez, Kelly Walby, Nicole Lalonde, and finally, Keenan Cummings. Thank you for living our theme of Know, Love, Serve. That wraps up our first ever Directors Communiqué in this new format. Please send us your pictures, share your stories with us, and let us know what you think of the video in lieu of the document. Until next month, I'm Twyla West.